Hi, Frank. It's so nice to talk to you today.
Hi, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, there in
Thank.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh yes, Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, yes, definitely hot. It's already hot. It's already hot
Is
outside,
it amazing?
isn't it? Goodness,
Okay.
right?
We're get
Yeah.
we're working on it here in Denver, but it's not quite
Ah,
hot yet. Well,
I
let's start
remember.
with let's start
Uh-huh.
with Kick Push. Tell me,
Cool.
how did you decide to write a book? I mean, you've been illustrating books, but then writing your own book. Tell me about that.
I know it's the strangest thing. Here's the story. My kids couldn't skate. Excuse me. My kids were looking for something to do one day. We
Hmm.
moved. This is a short story. I give you the short version. And I decided I was going to pull out the skateboard. Now, they were into everything except for skateboarding. We grew up, I'm about 20, 22.
Yeah, you're the same age as me, actually. I looked it up. So I know your vibe. You're a B-boy, right?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
gives away my age. I'm like 50. So anyway, I decided to take the skateboard to the tallest hill in my neighborhood. And I decided I was going to show my children what we used to do back in the 80s. Now, after the ambulance picked me up and got me home from
I was worried about, oh no. Not the same as when you were 16.
yeah, right? After years of rehabilitation, I found out after I came out of coma that my children picked up a skateboard and they became the best skateboarders ever.
Wait. And one of them's a professional skateboarder, right?
Yes, yes. Tyreek, well, both of them are. They just came back from New Orleans over the weekend, and Tyreek skates for Little Wayne. And it was the weirdest thing. We lived in this neighborhood, and I think Wayne's wife actually lived across the street, and his daughter was across the street. So I think that was the connection somehow. But we would just knock on the door around 2 or 3, around 12 o'clock at night. Wayne would pick them up in a Bentley. Little Wayne would pick them up in a Bentley, take him off to skate because he's Little Wayne. You can't have
Yeah.
the paparazzis out,
Yeah.
checking you out skating, especially if you don't have it down pat yet. You have to at least have it down pat. And so that was some of the day. They would come back at like 6 o'clock in the morning and hitting skate spots. I was like, well, Little Wayne's babysitting our children at night. I feel like they're all around the same age. Yeah.
How many people can say that, really?
No, you can't. You can't. Yeah, he's a really cool guy. I think skating is like meditation, I guess, for them, you know?
Yeah. Oh, what a cool vibe, though.
Yes,
Oh my God.
yes,
Just,
yeah. And
and
being a skateboard dad and mom, and I think anyone out there gets it, you are driving and looking at things nobody saw before. So you wouldn't notice. So
Mhm.
you're riding by an old factory and like, wow, that ramp, that's what we're going here for, a ramp to go
Yeah,
up and down. You can go up and down this ramp. You're
yeah.
looking at like Pope banisters. You're like, we have to stop for this banister. You got to go in there to jump off the banister. You're like,
Oh,
oh, all right, cool. All right. So you're constantly going by old factories and stuff like that, so that's kind of cool. It's different, driving around, you get to know your neighborhood.
yeah, in a completely different way.
Exactly.
Yeah. And probably
Reminds
back
me
in your
of age.
graffiti art days, did you looked at it like, what walls could I do my
Oh
art
yeah,
on,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I still write. So we have a little area we go to, and we do permission walls.
Okay,
Yeah.
I love that.
Hmm.
I love
Hmm.
that they're not painting over it now. Like back in when we were kids, like was it the same with you? They'd paint over them all the
Yeah, yeah. That was probably the government.
yeah, yeah. I won't say that anyway. So then so they're loving, and then how did you go from this idea and this experience with your kids to like, I gotta write this down, I gotta write this book?
Oh, the book is really about now. This is a teaser. You right? Uh, what is it called? Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
about being you.
Yeah.
My, one of my sons, Nari, he was not good at basketball nor football. And that's what the neighborhood games was, typical neighborhood games. And
Mhm.
so he struggled with it. And I just, when I bought the skateboard, he gelled to it like he was born on one.
Mhm.
That didn't sound right.
Yeah,
So
you're saying, yeah, yeah.
he was
Your poor wife. No.
right. I'm gonna roll it in here. But so he was like, he just went like that was he was born to skate. And I was like, no kid around here skated, no one skated. And then it was like we started noticing, like in Kick Push, as he flies through the story, he starts meeting more and more kids.
Yeah.
And they start seeing what he's doing at the end of the book, and now they all meet up with him. And it's really about doing your own thing and being a leader and let people follow you. You'd be surprised who's waiting for someone to take that first initiative.
Amen. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we want for our kids, right?
Right. Yeah. As long as it's something positive.
I also like that the parents were so encouraging. You know, they just a little nudge, like, yeah, keep going. Yeah. I love that.
You never know. Like I remember my parents had came in the 80s and we had to get these markers. They were the designer markers, right? And I didn't have any. I was using like Sharpies, whatever we had around the house. And my mom bought me a set of 72 designer markers. Now I had colors. There's no more just green. This is what I was using before. Trying to color in a page this big. Trying to color, right? And so when my mother bought me that, I was like, are you kidding me? Now, I don't know how many brain cells I burned out because they were all alcohol markers. So that smell just went into the air, like, you know, once in a while, like open a window fight. But I was able to create now and put color to it. And it really changed my life. And so I always try to help my children, whatever they may be doing. Like one of my daughters, she does production. So she writes music, she sings, she has an album out. The other one, Seer, he's a designer. He's in SCAD, so he does animation. So whatever I can buy them to just throw at them, I give it to them. You know, maybe to help. You know, maybe that's the designer market moment.
I love. Oh, here's the tools.
Yeah, here you go. Here you go. You can't say I didn't help. You know, the only thing I can't do is get them a rocket ship.
Yeah, I mean, your career is, you know, your trajectory. Who knows?
Right.
When you were in fine art, and then what pushed you into also doing illustration for children's books?
That would be the evil Kadir Nelson and the horrible Brian Collier.
Okay. You don't strike me as evil, but it's, you know, good to know.
Maybe you never heard of them, right? No,
I know I've heard of them. Yeah.
They are incredible artists. They are the best guys out. And I remember when Kadir came by Essence, this is years ago, and he was only there for like a year or two, and no one could believe how talented this kid was. And then Brian came by, and he came kicking butt. They were both, I was there for years. I was like the king of the town. Like, oh man, who are these kids? Yeah, I'll teach them a lesson. I'm looking at them like, what the heck? So they were amazing. Then they just disappeared. And I was like, what's going on? They went into illustration. And at that point, I didn't know anything about it. And then my children were reading their books, and I'm like, there is no way you can keep reading this book. You're gonna read one of my books. And my books didn't look that great at that time because they were made out of paper like this. Okay. And I just put them together with a fold. You know, you fold it.
I know that.
And so I just went out and I said, you know, I'm gonna go get a book deal, honey. I'll be right back. And 15 to 20 rejection notice later, I realized that, you know, maybe someone actually did call me back. And that's how I ended up getting into illustration.
Oh my gosh. So which book was your first one?
My first one is Jazzy Miss Rosetta.
Okay.
And then it was Sweet Music in Harlem. And Jazzy Miss Rosetta won a Coretta Scott King Award.
It did. And I've always been struck by is how different your illustrations are from most other people's. Like I'm not an artist, so I don't know the correct. You can tell me like what is it that makes them so like they're sort of realistic, they're so vibrant. And they're so evocative with emotion.
Yeah, I talked to my psychiatrist about that today. Oh no, I paint how I feel. And I think graffiti was like elongated. And I think when I go into painting, I have this elongated style. Okay. And I love having fun. And so I kind of do well with books that have movement to them. Yeah. And that you really get the full range of me. Like Kick Push, that's plenty. Like I hate to plug this book, but we're going to talk about it. Kick Push as that.
It is the movement in the illustrations. And I did a reel about it, which I don't know if you saw, but I love that's what really struck me so much about how well the illustrations, I think this is so cool that you could do the authoring and illustration, because what you can't say is just completely narrated in these illustrations that are full of movement, full of character.
Now, be careful reading it out loud. I just did it with a couple of kids. My gosh, I don't know. These are tongue twisting. I'm like, wait, did I write this?
But that's the best thing, because it's a onomatopoeia like explosion. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I love that.
A lot of fun working on this. A lot of fun.
Will we see more of you doing your own writing, do you think?
That's why I hid everything in the studio. We have you can't look over here. Okay. Block this. Let's block this. We have a couple of things up our sleeve.
Okay.
And but I have an agent that is she's very, she's just as evil as the rest of them. And she eats fire and she blows it out on me all the time. So I'm always working.
Yeah.
No, we have a couple of things we're working on, but I did this under the wraps right now.
Yeah. But something in the future, hopefully.
Yes.
We'll see. Okay, so what else? Let's see. If you're talking to young artists who are trying to get into doing their own art their own way, what advice do you give them?
I'm a nerd, believe it or not. I know I look like one, and I'm just going to claim it now. If you peer that way, you'll see a library of books. I have maybe, I don't even know, it's got to be over 1,000 books of art on that side of the wall. And I'm constantly researching.
Yeah.
There is a reason for every style. And believe it or not, sometimes there are battles in between. So there's some interesting stories that go along with it. And then the ones that are poor that came up, you're like, oh my gosh, you're never going to make it. And then you're like, oh, it's Picasso? It's like, you trace back, these are some interesting, like Rembrandt, I think died in a debtor's jail. Mm-hmm. So you're like, wow, get out of here. But the researching is my favorite part of it, because it gives me some kind of history behind what I do. Like I work in mannerism, and I could be considered an ashcan artist. And that school of artists paints everyday people in pretty much ghettos. Back in those days, they were Jewish ghettos that they painted. But the thing is that you do the research and you'll have an understanding of the style. And that's kind of what I would tell them to do. Look at it. If you like that artist, follow it, go down that rabbit hole and see where they came from. And then draw every day. Always challenge yourself.
Yeah. My daughter, I can't get her to stop drawing. I'm like, could you take a walk? You're like, you're gonna get a blood clot 5 hours later, Anyway, that's there's that.
I'm sorry, happy to hear that.
Brain cells, girlfriend. Okay, good. I know we're close on time. So is just anything else you want to say about Kick Push or next?
Is it you talking about this book here?
Yeah. That book. I love that book so much. I do. It's amazing.
In stores now. You can grab it online or your neighborhood your neighborhood bookstore. You can pick it up. It was it's fun working on it. It's for kids that let them know they can be who they are, as long as they're not bad kids, let them be who they are, and run out here and get on a skateboard and watch out for big hills, because I don't know what happened at the bottom of them. I can't remember. I know you go to the top of them, but going down, we don't know what happens at the bottom of them.
I need to have the helmet and the full
Yeah. And it's hot out here. And the doctor said I have to wear this helmet every day. So I have a metal hat on, and I'm hoping this metal.
That's another book. That's the next. Right. Grandpa rides a skateboard. No, just
there you go. Right.
Good stuff, Frank. I appreciate your time so much. I'm such a big fan. I love all your artwork, and for the people who are going to listen to this video, I just hope your collection is so huge. I hope that they read and look at all the art, and then you have your fine art too. So buy all. I saw a lot of it online. That's available for purchase, correct?
Yeah, I did all that last week. Yeah. I'm a paintaholic. I'm not gonna lie. I paint all the time.
You
do. Your daughter is on the right track. Yeah, goodness. That's all I do. My vacation is like, I'm going to go to the museum.
Oh my gosh. You're the life of the party.
Yeah, right. I'm like, oh, let's go read some books.
Yeah. Sounds like my kind of party. I love it. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Melissa. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a great day.
All righty.
I'm going to stop the recording. No, wait, that's not it. How do we stop the recording? Okay.
Really?